Hello everybody, this is Knoxef and welcome to a new video on this channel. And so today we'll be covering 10 Minecraft Megabase ideas for your next big project. And so over the course of a few months I've been thinking and collecting ideas for megabases for you to build. And so megabases are really big bases that you put a lot of time and effort to, and this first one is going to be a solar system. So if you can imagine a bunch of different planets that are all assembled and put up into the sky, and then each different planet has a different use, and they're all constructed. So this next one is going to be a cave, and I'm drawing this in a program called Critter, and so not really in Minecraft, so it's something new, and you can see me, drawing it. And so this one is completely underground, Minecraft cave and cliffs update style. And so basically, it's inside a cave underground. It could be a custom built cave, it can be in the new generation, whatever. Point is, it's in a cave, and so basically you just construct like a mining town that's underneath the ground. There can be a subterranean lake, there can be some minecarts going through, and some housing. So I think it'd be a really interesting idea for a cave base. And for the new update, if you're thinking, oh well, I always do houses above ground, well then maybe you can switch it up and build a mega base underneath the ground. You can grow it to be a kind of city almost underneath the ground. I think that'd be a really cool look. So this next one is above ground, and it's an enormous spaceship in the air. I really like building spaceships. I think they look really cool. I'm thinking, like Star Trek, I guess. You could also go for a Voltron. Any sort of really ship design you can think of, and it's floating in the sky. You need elytras or elevators, somehow to get to it. And then inside the interior of the ship, of the mega base, is going to be your storage system and everything you need. And it's all in this big ship floating over the ground. And if you want to get really creative, below it you can have some sort of landing dock. You can make some thrust out the side. You can have doors that open up underneath. Any really thing you can think about, and I think it could be a really cool megabase idea. So this next one is going to be floating in the sky. All of them, except for the cave, are kind of floating in the sky. And so this one, it takes the floating to the sky to the next level, and it's actually a floating city in the sky. Think, Laputa from Studio Ghibli movie. I forget what it's called. It features this big floating city in the sky, and they're trying to find it through the movie. And that's kind of what I drew inspiration from when drawing this, and I think that'll look really, really cool put into Minecraft. And you can have all sorts of rooms, and you can really make this super duper big and super duper cool. And so I think that this would be a really interesting mega base to make, and I think it has lots and lots and lots of ground for you to make it your own, and to really make it something pretty cool and pretty special. And so here is what I can kind of imagine it, but you can make it any shape you want, and yeah. So moving on to this next one, and this one is a moon base. And so you could do it in the end, but I'll probably want to do it in the overworld. And so basically, you construct some spheres. This one isn't that big, but you can probably make it pretty big. And so you have these big glass spheres, and surrounding it on the ground, covered in endstone, in light gray concrete powder, other materials, make it sand, and turn it into the surface of the moon, and you can construct some sort of moon base. And I think that'd be really cool. It wouldn't be too complicated, but I think it would look pretty awesome. So this next one is going to be a city. If you like cities, you might want to do something a bit more exciting than just a flat city on the ground, and this one is a upside down wedding cake city. So basically what it is it's a bunch of cylinders that's just extruded into the ground, and smaller and smaller and smaller. And in each layer, they have different stuff. So at the very bottom, you'd have skyscrapers, and above, you'd have factories, above that, you'd have residential, and above that, you'd have parks and schools, whatever you want to decorate it with, but it's all underneath the ground. So when you're coming flat at it, only the tops of the skyscrapers you can actually see, and you get to the edge, and you look down at this huge, big place, and I think that'd be really cool, especially if the world size is going down a lot. There's so much more space to build downwards, and I think you could really make a city down, deep into the ground in a big hole, and it'll look really cool looking down into. So this next one is taking the opposite direction of the caves and cliffs down, but it's taking the caves and cliffs height and basically using it to its fullest potential. And so this one is very similar to the floating city, but instead of just a floating city, there's 2 mountains on either side supporting it. And so you can make these custom mountains with like ore veins in them, and then a big city on top. It would just, I think it could look really, really stunning. You could stand up on top of it, you could have stuff built inside of the mountains, and then altogether it'll look really peaceful, really serene, and I think it would look just absolutely awesome to have in your world. So yeah, you can kind of make it any shape you want. You can make it cylinder, could make it like trapezoid. This one I kind of just did with some supporting at the top and support at the bottom, but really I think you can make it your own. So this next one is special because it's half in the overworld and half in the nether. As you can see, it's divided in 2. And so this one is very similar, if you think back to a few mega base ideas ago, to the big ship. And so imagine a big ship that's crashed into the ground, and when it crashed into the ground, you can think of some sort of story. It powered on this magical portal. On this magical portal, when it hit the ground, it exploded, and it caused the creation of the very first nether portal. This very first nether portal cut off half the ship and brought it to the nether. And so you build half of it in the overworld and the rest in the nether, and they connect to each other. And I think it'd be a really cool concept, especially if you had multiple nether portals, and you had a big ship and scattered debris everywhere. And I think you can make a really, really cool looking base. Alright, next up onto this one is back again with the mountains, but instead of just having 2, it's a lot of mountains. It's the same kind of idea. It's city surrounded by mountains. And so what I'm kind of imagining is like a landscape, and there's this nice big clearing in the middle, and it's surrounded by mountains, and it's pristine. And so it's in the middle. There could be like this walled city. You could build it out of like a village, have some villagers roaming around, and I think it would look really, really cool. You can build it in a mountains biome, and that way, when you just look out of the window, you can see some awesome landscape and some awesome clouds surrounding everything, and some mountains and all sorts of landscape around you. And really, it's not even so much about the village, but it's almost even more so about the mountains and about the scenery, and about being in a beautiful location. And I think that's really what make this build, I think would make it a really interesting thing to put your time into. Alright, so this next one is the final base idea, and this one is a bunker. And so if you've ever watched the movie specifically of Hunger Games, the third one, then you'll know, kind of like District 13, that kind of bunker vibe. It's like this whole entire, almost colony that's completely supported underneath the ground. So I'm thinking you go down into a bunker, and then it's just enormous, it's sprawling. You could hijack a cave and plaster it full of iron, and make it into kind of a post-apocalyptic bunker, and I think that'll look really cool. And so if you like any of these mega base ideas, then leave them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye!